It's Wednesday. It's 5-minute rehab day. Come on in. Come on in. This is Taisha Presley, the owner and the founder of Legacy Empowerment Services. We are a mental health private practice. We're located in Charlotte, North Carolina, and we work with adolescents and young adults who have experienced some type of dysfunction and now want to rehabilitate their lives. They have been through something and now they want to get their lives together, and that's what I love to help them to do. That is my passion. So I wanted to talk today about parenting styles because, guys, as you guys probably should know by now, I am running a coaching program for co-parents to help them to get their co-parenting lives together. And one of the things that we run into so often is the fact that many parents just have different styles of parenting. And that is quite okay to have different styles of parenting, but the question becomes, what do we do about that? So today, I want to just talk about what the different styles, there are 4 different parenting styles, what the major parenting styles are, and how do I recognize it in myself. And if you can recognize your style in yourself, you may be able to also recognize your co-parent style. And then while you are recognizing each other's style, what do we do about it? Okay. All right. So let's talk about the authoritarian parent. That was a hard word on a Wednesday. The authoritarian parent. Why am I having such a hard time with that word? I don't know, but let's keep on going. All right. So this parent, I'm reading from my notes. So this parent believes that kids should follow rules without any exceptions. Okay. If you are an authoritarian parent, you may say things like, because I said so. And you may say things like, stay in a child's place. You are an authoritative parent. You are not interested in any kind of negotiating. All you want to see is your child's obedience. You want them to obey you, okay? You don't really get involved in any kind of problem solving of challenges, any kind of obstacles, anything like that. You are going to have a consequence for rule breaking, and you don't really care what they feel about it, okay, at all. So you focus on punishment, you focus on discipline, and you don't really teach about how to make better choices. You just focus on, these are the choices that I've made for you. Now fall in line. Okay. So let's talk about how this affects the child. So if you're an authoritarian parent, this really strict way of parenting in terms of just having set rules for kids, it comes at a price. Yes, kids will obey you, but it comes at a price in terms of it diminishes their ability to be able to think through problems. It diminishes their ability to be able to have their own voice and to have their voice feel valued and heard and respected. So that all is a price that comes with being an authoritarian parent. And also, your child may become more aggressive or passive aggressive because you've taught them that their voice does not matter. Okay. So that is the authoritarian parent that is very strict and rule punishment based. So let's talk about the authoritative parent. So an authoritative parent, I'm having a hard time today, you guys. So an authoritative parent invests time and energy into preventing behavior problems before the behavior problems start. So they may use positive discipline strategies to try to reinforce positive behaviors like praise and reward systems. The authoritative parent may have rules and consequences, but they are going to listen to the child in order to see what the child's opinions, thoughts, feelings, and needs are in relation to their authoritative approach. Okay. So you may put a lot of effort into creating and maintaining a positive relationship with your child. You may find yourself explaining rules for your child. You may find yourself enforcing the consequence, but taking into consideration what your child thinks. All right. So how does this all affect your child? If you're an authoritative parent, research says you are doing the thing. Okay. So it says that authoritative parents are more likely to raise kids that are very responsible and comfortable expressing their their opinions because you taught them that their opinions value and matters, okay? So authoritative parent and discipline tends to make kids that are happier and more successful and good at making decisions, and not only good at making decisions, but good at self-reflecting on their decisions, which is everything, as you probably know as an adult yourself, being able to learn from your mistakes, make mistakes, not be afraid to make mistakes, but learn from the mistakes and then tweak that what you've learned and transition that into the rest of your world. That's what the effect is from an authoritative parent, all right? So the next style, the third style, is permissive parenting. So a permissive parent usually takes a more friendly role than a parenting role. So they may often encourage their child to talk to them about their problems. They may usually not put a lot of effort into discouraging poor choices or bad behaviors because they're like, look, you're going to learn, life going to teach you, life going to show you. So that parent is going to let life show you as opposed to being the parent that's kind of guiding and supporting you as you go. So the permissive parents, they're going to be more lenient. They're going to step in only when a serious problem comes up. Only when a serious problem comes up, they're going to be really forgiving. They may adopt this attitude of kids are going to be kids when they do not have the consequences to follow through. They may not even make the consequences stick when something happens and the child kind of backslides a little bit or is not obedient, like their dog. So they may also give back privileges before the child has actually, quote unquote, earned them. So that is the more permissive parent. How does this all affect the child? So research says that kids that grow up with permissive parents are more likely to struggle. So we tend to think that kids love to be free and fancy, but research shows that they actually don't do well with this approach. Actually, they're at higher risk of health problems like obesity. They have lower self-esteem. They report a lot more sadness. They're not able to stick with good habits, because they did not have that more authoritative and more involved approach from their parent. Okay. All right. And the last one is the uninvolved parent. So the uninvolved parent tends to really not know anything because they're uninvolved. So they don't really have a lot of knowledge about what their kids are actually doing. They tend to not have any rules at all. They may not give any kind of guidance or nurturing, and they may not even give their kids much attention at all. So uninvolved parents expect children to basically raise themselves. So they don't devote much time or energy to meeting those basic needs that kids developmentally need from parents. That's why they have us, right? So uninvolved parents can tend to be what we consider neglectful, but it's not always intentional. Sometimes it's because maybe the parent has something else going on, like their own mental health issue, their own medical issues, work, so sociological issues. And sometimes, you know what, parents may just not even know. A lot of my parents come to me because they've not been raised with an authoritative approach. And because of that, they have felt neglected. They didn't have the role model to be able to parent. So a lot of times it's because I just don't know. I don't have the information. So how does this affect your kids? It's kind of similar to the permissive parent. So kids that grow up with uninvolved parents have struggled with their self-esteem. They tend to do poorly in structured activities, and they have frequent behavior problems and mental health issues. Okay. All right. So those are the parenting styles, or the four parenting styles. You have the uninvolved parent, you have the permissive parent, the authoritative parent, and the authoritarian parent. I want to know, which one do you identify with? And don't be curious, because sometimes you may not fit neatly into one box. You may sometimes go into one and the other. That's okay, because we are not stagnant human beings. We're ever growing and ever evolving. So you may find yourself fitting one, but sometimes you may find that you primarily have a particular style. And I want to know, drop it in the comments, which style of parenting are you? And then also, not only you, but which style of parenting is your co-parenting? Which one does he lean towards or she lean towards? And how do you choose to address that? Maybe we'll talk about that next week. How about that? All right, I'll see you guys next week. Bye-bye.